got a mechanical picker to do it. This is a 1932 Lee Moon truck. One reason for buying it because it had a good heavy frame. We had to move the fenders out here about a foot in order to get the motor in to run the sheller. The motor was in here, not near big enough. This is a 468 cubic inch diesel motor, which was taken out of a Greyhound bus. The radiator I bought out of the junkyard in Chicago, paid $75. It's pure copper all the way through. Telephone number is kind of out of date. This was all put together in 1950, and that was a telephone number at that time, and I never changed things. This is the cob stacker where the cobs come out. This gets swung around to the either way for a half circle that goes up into the truck. This is the dust bag that gets opened up and fastened into the leaf wagon and blowed all the leaves and dirt get blown into the leaf wagon. These are just two of the sections of drag that are put down alongside the crib, sometimes inside, sometimes outside, sometimes underneath. The other two sections are on the other side of the sheller. This is the big suction fan that sucks all the dirt and leaves out of the cobs after they come out of the cylinder. This part right here runs the shakers. This is a power unit that I can change the speed on these drag sections. If they are not filled full enough, I can change the speed on this here and make the chain run faster. Back here you see the 6 drive belts that power the cylinder. These are the 6 belts that run the cylinder. They are powered from the motor, which is in the front of the truck. From a drive shaft underneath, I have a transfer case with levers in the cab. I can switch the power from the rear axle to these belts. The rear axle of the truck was moved back about 3 feet from where it was originally in order to put the bottom corn auger down in the frame so the sheller itself is not mounted so high. Bought the sheller brand new in 1950 for $2,500. You can see the name up on top of the fan here. It's a Joliet sheller. They do not make this sheller anymore. It's been about 6 years since they made this sheller, since they make parts for this sheller. I've run about 13 million bushels through this sheller since I've had it. When I found out they were going to go out of business, I bought a lot of spare parts, castings and gears and things that you cannot buy any other place. As far as shafting and sprockets and things like that, you usually can get at a local manufacturing business store. This elevator here is where the shell ear corn goes up into the cylinder. Right now it's doubled up for road transportation. The bottom part folds out, makes it more accessible to run that ear corn into. I was describing before. This is a little bit better view from this side. This part here folds out. This is the upright part here where the corn falls into. This is the power divider. I can change the speed and the amount of corn that comes into the hopper here. This again shows a picture of the V-belts. Some of these belts are pretty old. Got one here that seems like it always wants to run backwards, so I just left it run that way. Again, you can see how the axle was moved back about 3 feet so the auger here could set down in the frame in order to keep the sheller low enough for just natural reasons.
How much was it?
The motor was no good in it. This is a blower fan that blows all the dirt out as the corn falls through the sieve. Up on top here you see a little glass container that you put oil in. It drips oil slowly onto that big gear there. The shelled ear coin goes in the cylinder. Inside here there's rods where the shelled corn can fall through and the cobs go on further out the end of the cylinder. Shelled corn drops through down into the corn screen, which is about this level. And the suction blower fan blows the dust out and the corn drops down to this bottom auger, to this elevator which goes up to this other auger, which swings out and goes into the truck. This little red rod here controls the amount of cobs that come out of the end of the cylinder. That rod just keeps continually flopping back and forth all the time. These are the other two drag sections that fit into the other two that are on the other side. My transfer case is right down underneath here. Power comes from the motor into the case. There's rods from the case go up into the cab, which I can shift the gears around and put the power to the rear axle or put the power to the belts in the back end. Right here you can see where the dust and cobs, some of them come out here and go into this auger, which goes out the other side to the cob stacker. This big pipe here is part of the suction fan that was shown from the other side of the sheller. Sucks all the dirt up through here in the leaves and blows it out that bag. This little container here, you may not believe this, but I run this motor and never change oil. There's 3 rolls of toilet paper in here that filter the oil. One time I overhauled the motor and I had to put a new crankshaft in. After I run it for 6 years without changing oil, we overhauled the motor and they ground 10/1000ths off of the crankshaft and it cleaned up perfect. So it just shows you that what 3 rolls of toilet paper will do to your oil and you never have to change oil. This is one of the diesel fuel filters. This is the final stage filter. This is the time when the motor is cold, like say above 0 or down to 0. I take this particular hose off here. Got a rag here. I put a little diesel fuel on. I don't like to use ether on a motor. person can bust the rings too easy. If you got a diesel motor that won't start in the wintertime, this is one way to do it.
Do we want to start a gasoline engine this way?
But you don't want to do this with a gasoline engine.
Why not?
It might blow up if you use a gasoline engine.
Oh.
No, I can't get the thing started. There we go.
I think it's too cold.
Now you get this rag burning pretty good. And I got some wires here so I can start the motor from outside the cab. So I just touch the two wires together and hold the fire by the air intake and suck the fire in and it'll take right off.
Huh.
Shut down.
I didn't.
As soon as I get the start, I put my hose back on again.
That's the air cleaner hose?
That is the air cleaner hose. This has been a very good, exceptional motor as far as I'm concerned. That thing runs and runs and runs. Maintenance is practically nothing.
How long have you had it?
Well, I built the whole unit in 1950. Put the whole works together. The exhaust pipe is straight up here. You don't want nothing shooting down the ground and kind of dust. You have a pretty good fire going. You've got that blowing down. I always carry some spare belts here, which is pretty handy. Again, you can see how much we had to put in the fender to get the front end out far enough to get this big motor in. Here you can see the radiator, which is all copper, pure copper all the way through. I've had it since I put the motor together and everything. I've never had a bit of trouble with that radiator, never leaked or anything. This is an extra big framework I put around the radiator with a screen on to keep the dust out of the radiator. Well, you can average, on an average, 1,000 bushel an hour. I have hit 1,500 bushels in an hour if things are right. I run between 12 and 13 million bushels through it. I used to keep track exactly, but the last 5 or 7 years I haven't kept track. Moving, why it's not too hard to steer. Sometimes when you're setting over around the buildings, it's close quarters, why it takes a lot of arm power.
You shutting it off?
Leaving for the job.
Starting to, yeah. Starting to, yeah. There's that awesome machine. Looks like it has fire on it right now.